Hold on. Okay, so back for our series with Star Trek, the original series. I think we did Journey to Babel last, so now we're looking at the Trouble with Tribbles episode. Go ahead and kick us off. You were saying behind the scenes that you had a favorite part of this episode.
Yes. My favorite part in the episode was the squeaker toy noise that the Tribbles made, particularly when the dead ones were falling out of the grain things.
Oh yeah, and they kind of just kept coming. It reminded me of like the Furbies back in the day. But I didn't have a whole lot to say on this episode. I don't know if you guys did. I mean, it was a fun little episode. It was cute. There were a couple of interesting things, I guess, with the whole idea of tribbles. So these little cute little creatures that got on board that can, multiply incredibly quick, like bacteria, basically. Actually, now that I think about it, there were a number of things I could talk about. So before I get into that, though, did anybody have anything else that they wanted that stuck out from this episode that they liked or wanted to discuss?
Doesn't it seem odd how clueless Kirk was about the going-ons on his ship? It's like, what is it, penny wise, pound foolish? So, he's doing all this shit with the Klingons and having his little personal spat with that ranking official. And at the same time, he's being invaded. His borders are open. He's being overwhelmed, and he's basically clueless until they start coming out in his cereal bowl and coffee cup.
Yeah, there's a number of things. The more that I watch the original series, again, I like, but it's kind of the same old tropes with certain stuff. But yeah, you would have thought, I mean, especially for Kirk, he's actually one that usually picks up on stuff, I guess, quicker than normal. But in this one, yeah, I don't know, maybe he was so distracted with other things going on because every time, I mean, like there are 2 or 3 moments where it's like you thought he was going to pick up on it.
It was, but yeah, like you said, he was distracted. There was the brawl between the Klingons and humans and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm going to chalk that up to him just being distracted. But
it was strange because like he'd go into one room and it's like, where are all these tribbles? And it's like, where isn't there only one of those? It's like, like, did you buy more? No, it was just the one she had babies. Then it go into the sick bay and it's like, you got more of those? No, it was just one. It's like, you would have thought, like, realizing how quickly that was multiplying.
Yeah, you would think you would have put 2 and 2 together fast enough to be like, wait a minute.
And I think my biggest thing with it was because they said it 2 or 3 times is that they seem to just eat and multiply. And the very first question, what the hell are you guys feeding them? What are they eating?
Yeah.
Right? Because one, I was kind of wondering, like, are they just getting nourishment from out of nowhere? Because obviously in this episode, the grain supply is the main thing that's going on.
And then it's implied that it's poisoned because a bunch of them are already dead.
Right, that's what they find out later. But like my initial thoughts were just stop eating them.
I can't remember, was it poisoned or was it just they gorged until they died?
No, it was poisoned. The idea was that they were going to, the Klingons had poisoned this grain. Yeah, so when it goes to that planet, it would end up killing everybody.
Basically. And then Scotty at the end beams them all onto the Klingon ship at the last minute. There'll be no Tribble at all.
Well, and there's 2 things with that. I mean, first of all, I'll just say I think my favorite part of this episode or person in this episode was actually the purveyor of the Tribbles, the guy that was selling them. I just really liked him a lot. I don't think it ever occurred to him that he kept because they even asked him. I think Kirk asked where do you get them or something like that. He's like,
wasn't that Cyrano?
Was that his name? I forgot his name.
Cyrano or Cyrano Jones.
No. I think you're thinking of the pirate type guy. I think that has the women. Because he comes up twice. He's in the first season and the second season.
It doesn't matter. I could have sworn it was Cyrano or Cyrano Jones. Either way, I thought it was good. I've always loved and I think you guys are a lot the same. Kind of the dry humor of Spock. It's missed on some
Oh
people,
yeah.
but I love whenever they're talking about like how long it would take to remove him from the ship, and he's like approximately 17.9 years. It's like
Yeah.
good luck with
Nah.
that.
No, that's what. Yeah, Spock and Dr. McCoy. I like
Yeah.
their kind of banter together. But the second thing I was going to say, because you mentioned them right at the end, Scotty beaming them over to the Klingons.
Yeah.
Because that was the big thing, right? It's not just that they multiply. The Klingons seem to actually, when they're near, obviously the Tribbles have a soothing effect and everything and make everybody relax, except for Klingons for
Except
whatever
Klingons.
reason.
Yeah.
And in fact, they create some noise
They
that the
agitate them,
Klingons
yeah.
seem to really hate.
It
So
agitates.
it was more than just that. And that, was the clever way that they found the Confederate in the ranks that was a Klingon pretending to then, well, not be a Klingon.
Right.
All right, two things. One, did you notice that these Klingons don't have the tractor tread forehead?
The ridges.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was something, because again, I watched the Next Generation was the first Star Trek I was introduced to, and I liked it a lot. And then coming back to this one, there's a lot of little differences with like the Klingons and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Think they-
basically, you just had to have a goatee and a mustache to be a Klingon.
Yeah, and it may
Uh,
speak just the fact
wait.
that we talked about this earlier. Go ahead, Stephen. Go ahead.
Hold on, I gotta
the
Worf
sorry, go ahead.
Worf was a Klingon?
Yeah.
Wolf, you know.
Was he? Okay. Then who? So it's not Klingons. Then who are the other
The ones with the big ears.
enemies?
The Romulans.
Not the Romulans. Okay, that's what I
Oh
was
yeah,
thinking of.
yeah.
Romulans.
But see, in the original series, the Klingons were the bad guys.
Yeah.
They later came into the Federation, but the Romulans, which were basically emotional Vulcans, they stayed bad guys.
Yeah, because I kept thinking I had it confused because I kept thinking that the Klingons were like the Vulcan type thing, and I was wondering every time I saw them why they didn't have the pointy ears. But
So
that makes
the
sense.
other thing that I would comment on, and again, it's because the show did not try to take itself too seriously. It had the humor and whatnot, and that's the fact that Scotty, who was specifically sent to keep order, kept order so long as they were insulting the captain. But as soon as they insulted his
Yeah,
Yeah.
ship,
was that?
now
Who
it's
was
time to fight.
Yeah, I
Who
like
was
that one too.
It was Oh, you're talking about a different episode. Sorry. Go ahead. It's been a long day.
Well, that was the trouble with Tribble.
Yeah,
That's where
they're
that
in
fight was.
they're in the mess
The
hall or
bar.
whatever because then later Scotty's the one sent down to keep order with his men or whatever, and the Klingons start trying to pick a fight and they're insulting the captain and everything, and Chekhov's wanting to fight him. Scotty's keeping him back. Then they start insulting the Enterprise because that was the funny explanation whenever Scotty ended up telling him that it was him who threw the first punch to Kirk, and Kirk's he's they were insulting you and saying all this bad stuff, and he's like, oh, so that's when you punched him. No, wasn't then. It was whenever they insulted the ship.
Yeah.
So I like you well enough, but you're not the Enterprise.
Yeah. All in all, it was good. It's a good Star Trek episode. It's got its funny moments, and like Steven said, there's only so much you can do, especially if you go back. But the thing I like, and I think I'm gonna find this with any review we do of old Star Trek, the original series, is that you can look past the campy sound effects, the campy wardrobe, all those different things because just the writing's good. The writing is good, and the dynamic it works. It's perfect. It's really good.
It's
Well,
phenomenal. It keeps you engaged, keeps you fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just really good.
Steven was talking about liking the old reprobate that was selling the Tribbles. And of course, I think his premiere scene was when the fight came on, and he just immediately got behind the bar and started enjoying himself. And I do like the fact that when the bartender took that final drink out of his hand, he had one in his pocket.
Yeah, he had the second one. Well, so I'll say I'll recommend this show, especially this would be a good intro show if you're trying to get well, yourself involved, or if you have a female companion or something, because you got cute little triples in there. They're fun to look at and everything. So we'll keep that review here pretty much around 10 minutes and call it on that. So until the next one, take care.